All right, there is an urgent conversation that we need to have. I've been wanting to make a video on this topic for a while, and this urgency was only reinforced after I saw former President Barack Obama openly sounding the alarm on Twitter. He linked to an article, and when I clicked on it, it quoted Trump's former chief strategist, Steve Bannon, the dude who coined the phrase, flood the zone, which means to spread so much disinformation, put out so many stories at such a rapid pace that nobody can keep up. But the former president and Steve Bannon seem to both be worried about the same thing, and I think it's worth talking about because while AI can be used as a tool, there also seems to be a pretty decent chance it could displace large portions of the workforce over the next 5 to 10 years. Now, the thing is, it's a nuanced topic because many of these estimates are coming from the AI companies themselves who have every single incentive to give the impression that they are rapidly evolving and that you should invest in them, invest more and more. And, they could be putting on a facade, but we are seeing these front-facing models progress at a rapid pace. Now, are they at the place where they could replace the workforce? I'm not sure, but in 10 years, it could be. So I'm not here to hype up AI or to fearmonger. It's somewhere in the middle. I view AI as a tool, and I think like any tool, it depends on how it's used and by whom it's used. For example, if we allow it to fall into the hands of the richest of the rich who want to weaponize it to hurt the most vulnerable communities, as we've seen done recently with certain bills and certain billionaires, then that is not good. Now, I actually want to take a nuanced position more here. Not every single billionaire is even bad. I think that people like Mark Cuban and Taylor Swift are actually ethical billionaires. You can't point to me something Taylor Swift's done where she's exploited workers to get her $1 billion. In fact, I think she's given huge bonuses. I know she's given huge bonuses to people who work for her as backup dancers or truck drivers. She's redistributed her wealth, and she's done a good job at doing that. Mark Cuban also has a company where he caps prices and has very, very affordable drugs. He is using his wealth, leveraging his wealth for good. The point is, AI could fall in the right hands if we are able to actually guide the process. We'll dig more into the nuances in just 1 second because I know people are going to be mad whether I come out as pro-AI or anti-AI. I'm just somewhere in the middle. I view it as a tool, and I'm doing more and more research. I was actually ordering an AI book earlier this morning. I want to learn more because it's going to be a hot topic over the next few years, and we can't stop it. It's not something that we can just shun because if we're not developing it, other countries are. But in the article that President Obama linked, it says, Dario Amodei, CEO of Anthropic, one of the world's most powerful creators of artificial intelligence, has a blunt, scary warning for the US government and all of us. AI could wipe out half of all entry-level white-collar jobs and spike unemployment to 10 to 20% in the next 1 to 5 years, Amodei told us in an interview from his San Francisco office. Amodei said AI companies and government need to stop sugarcoating what's coming, the possible mass elimination of jobs across technology, finance, law, consulting, and other white-collar professions, especially entry-level gigs. Now, here's the thing. He has every incentive to say that AI is rapidly advancing and that you should invest in it. That could be what he's doing, maximizing profits. But at the same time, I do think that AI is advancing very, very, very quickly. Let's just assume that it is. Let's continue to read this. Why it matters. Amodei, 42, who's building the very technology he predicts could reorder society overnight, said he's speaking out in hopes of jarring government and fellow AI companies into preparing and protecting the nation. Few are paying attention. Lawmakers don't get it or don't believe it. CEOs are afraid to talk about it. Many workers don't realize the risks. The big picture, President Trump has been quiet on the job risks from AI, but Steve Bannon, a top official in Trump's first term, whose War Room is one of the most powerful MAGA podcasts, says AI job killing, which gets virtually no attention now, will be a major issue in the 2028 presidential campaign, and I actually agree. I've had multiple people behind the scenes tell me AI will be the issue, either this this midterm election cycle, or in the primaries and the general elections in 2028. And I tend to agree. That's why I'm buying books and I'm reading it. I want you guys to let me know your genuine opinions in the comment section below. I mean, people are going to give me flack for one reason or another, but drop a like, drop your actual opinion on AI and how we can harness it. Don't just say we should shun it and reject it. I mean, if that's your opinion, let me know. But I think that's quite short-sighted when other countries will be developing it. Amodi, who had just rolled out the latest versions of his own AI, which can code at near human levels, said the technology holds unimaginable possibilities to unleash mass good and bad at scale. Here's what Steve Bannon said, quote, "I don't think anyone is taking into consideration how administrative, managerial, and tech jobs for people under 30, entry-level jobs that are so important in your 20s, are going to be eviscerated." And here's one of the issues. We've seen great revolutions before. We've seen the Industrial Revolution. We've seen tools come and go. 200 years ago, there was a job called a lamplighter. Now, that job would make most young children laugh, right? So in 200 years, we don't know what jobs will be obsolete, and sometimes we have to accept that. But I will say, the problem is this will be a rapid displacement of mass portions of the workforce. And rather than there being new job opportunities, there will just be a loss of jobs. In theory, this is what people are saying would happen, and that would be terrible. Now, there are ways we can regulate it or get ahead of the curve to make sure that AI doesn't actually whoop our ass or accelerate too fast, but if we don't, it will fall in the right hands. Now, here's where I think AI could be helpful. Again, I want to take a nuanced position. I don't want to spend this whole video saying, we should be scared of AI. In healthcare, we're already seeing certain AI models that can scan x-rays or summarize patient histories or flag potential issues faster than overworked doctors can. For example, the Trump administration removed lung scans to see if coal miners had some sort of cancer that is often found in miners. They removed those scans. Would you guys be willing to replace those with more efficient AI x-rays if they were proven to be safe, cheap, and efficient? I think I would be. I think that is a good thing. This doesn't mean replacing doctors, by the way. It means giving them a second brain or a second set of hands that works and doesn't get tired or overwork them. In countries with doctor shortages, this could literally genuinely save lives. In government, AI could streamline some of the clunkiest processes. Let me caveat, we don't want AI in our personal data, but think about how long it takes to get a building permit, for example. The bureaucracy involved in getting a simple building permit, you could argue, has directly led to homelessness, which has directly led to drug addiction and a less productive society. All these things can be streamlined with AI. There are ways that it could help, but we just need to make sure that we are channeling it in the right way. I'm telling you right now, the candidate who runs in 2028 on an AI-based platform is the one who has an edge. The one who runs on an AI regulation platform and making sure that we use it for good has an edge, not the candidate who rejects it. If JD Vance beats us to it, then we don't get to win. I mean, Pete Buttigieg said the same thing. Let Pete Buttigieg guide the way. Someone in this comment section of this video said, if we embrace AI as a party, they're done voting Democrat. I think that's short-sighted.
What could happen to a lot of jobs and the workforce as this develops. Now, look, AI is going to create so much value and so much wealth that if we get it right, everybody could wind up better off. We could really realistically see a future where there is a shorter work week and more money in your pockets. But that won't happen on its own. That requires people in charge who are ready to insist that this doesn't just lead to preposterous levels of inequality and wealth for a tiny handful of people, but actually benefits us all.
Exactly. Very, very well said. And that's what I was trying to say. I would take the trade-off of having doctors that are more efficient in detecting certain types of cancer as long as we can slightly regulate it and make sure that customer service and entry-level jobs in certain sectors aren't quietly being phased out. Now, companies can use AI as a simple tool to maybe streamline someone's job, but to lay off workers entirely, I think, is also short-sighted. So the people building these systems are saying this clearly. AI could create trillions of dollars in new value, but it could also push millions of people out of work before we figure out what comes next. So there are a few things that we can do to actually have a solution-oriented video. I don't just want to yap and not leave you with things to think about. Number one, we could do skill-based retraining over the next 5 to 10 years, which means governments and certain companies could start training people to integrate these tools and level up their skills so that we know how to work alongside AI rather than get placed by it. So doctors, electricians, nurses aren't replaced. People like me, because I could be easily replaced by an AI bot. Maybe I can use it to level up over the next 5 years. I don't know exactly how. Or we have targeted regulation against safety so it doesn't get to that point. Which one would you guys rather have? I really am curious what you think. I'm actually just listing out the solutions. There are also targeted safety nets. If AI is going to do more labor, we could have broad UBI. So imagine this. AI does more labor. We slowly retrain the workforce to integrate AI and create trillions of dollars in new wealth. That trillions of dollars is then redistributed in the form of UBI, which is Universal Basic Income. Remember the Andrew Yang platform? But it's sector-specific stopgaps tied to real AI usage. So what I'm trying to say here is if a certain sector begins to be dominated by AI, you integrate it and you have stopgaps with UBI, which these are all just certain solutions that I was thinking through. I'm going to be reading some books about this topic. People are going to grill me for it, but I think this is informative stuff. Love you all. Subscribe. Join the train. I always get videos like Yo Mockler. I've been watching since 200K subs. Just realized I wasn't subscribed. So scroll down, subscribe, join the network. Love you all. Peace out.